This is the 14th Istanbul Apparel Conference. I would like to welcome you all. The theme of this year is recoding fashion. It means that we all together will be trying to recoding the fashion. And all together for fashion and apparel, we'll be learning the new codes. We're just together with a very crowded program. We have several speakers from India to UK, from Qatar to the Netherlands, just like actually the deployment of the Turkish clothing manufacturers all around the world. And I hope that you are ready for this journey with us. And we will be recoding the fashion and apparel all together. At the first session, I have very distinguished speakers. This is the opening session we will have. The head of the Executive Committee of Turkish Clothing Manufacturers Association, Ramazan, welcome. And at the same time, the Sanem, Dikmen, welcome again from Turkish Clothing Manufacturers Association. Ahmet, Öksüz from Istanbul Textile and Raw Materials Exporters Association, head of the Executive Committee, and also from Istanbul Apparel Exporters Association, Mustafa, Gültepe, head of the Executive Committee. I will start with Ramazan. Actually, together we'll be with a very crowded program and we'll be having our conference together. What will be discussed today? What type of a conference is ahead of us? And at the same time, what is on the agenda of your industry? First of all, thank you very much, especially for all the presidents of the associations for not leaving us alone. This is the 14th Istanbul Apparel Conference. I would like to welcome everyone. And actually, two different topics we have when compared to last year. The first thing is, as you have also mentioned, for the first time, we will be actually together with Sanem Dikmen in April 2021, we actually had, and we have a co-presidential system in our association so as to raise global awareness. So we have two presidents of the executive committee, and I am the co-president with Sanem Dikmen. The second difference when compared to yesterday is we changed the name of the event. We had 13 in the past, namely Fashion Conference, but this time we're naming it, we will be naming it Istanbul Apparel Conference. Maybe you can ask what is the reason so as to change the title of the event, so as to be much more inclusive. Retail, digital, brand, logistics, and manufacturers, exporters. We just wanted to bring all the different chains together. And this is also included in the international event agenda. Especially we'll be discussing about the textile, the changes in the industry. We'll share experience to lead the industry, especially the manufacturers, the retailers, what they need, what are the trends, as the procurement strategies of the foreign companies, and we'll be discussing all these things. You know, due to the pandemics, we had the 13th conference last year over the digital platform. It was in the form of hybrid event, and 6 million actual views and for the previous conference, and at the same time we shared, actually we had several speakers as well. Now, as the Turkish Clothing Manufacturers Association, for the last 45 years we have done a lot, and we have always been leader in the industry. We just wanted to be sustainable, and just to make the conference more efficient and turn it into a tradition, we really tried the best. At the backstage of the conference there is actually devotion. The main theme of the conference, as you mentioned, is recoding fashion. So we will be recoding fashion altogether. Just like previously, we again will continue to have some projections for the future and the trends for the future. What are the risks, opportunities that we have due to the pandemic, sustainability, digitalization that will be put on the focus. And it's going to be entirely at the digital platform this year. And throughout the day, we will have our event, and I hope that you will make use of all the sessions. Again, our two associations, Apparel Exporters and Textile and Raw Materials Exporters Association, I would like to thank to both Ahmet, Öksüz and Mustafa Gültepe for their devotion. And this year, just like the previous year, I also would like to thank Bloomberg TV, and to all our sponsors and to everyone who devoted themselves. Of course, our industry is actually a global player. Of course, our stakeholders actually gets the best word. You know, the pandemic is not under total control, but this year the global economy and trade is increasing, especially the economy of the countries with high vaccination rate is recovering. Europe and the United States, the biggest markets that we have, there is actually a recovery quite fast, and we feel it on the field. There's recovery and growth. This actually has started to be reflected on all the stakeholders. We have almost 20 billion US dollars, and 12 billion US dollars in raw materials will be increased. Actually, in total, we are the champion of the export, considering both industries in the country. Not only in the evolving markets, but at the same time, with the support of different supplier chains, of course, there is actually a trend in everywhere. Of course, there is an additional demand. Do you think it will be sustainable for our country and the industry? I think that is the question that we are looking for an answer. If, for example, everything is going to be sustainable and permanent, we need additional capacity. Okay, we have great orders. Orders are coming. Business is good. And looking at the future, I would say with Europe and the United States, when we talk, we know what is going to happen. But in terms of production and capacity, and especially, I think there is the need for some investments, large-scale ones. With regards to sustainability and digitalization, e-commerce and marketplaces, we actually have to be adaptable to the regulations. This is the 14th conference, and we'll be discussing all these matters and listen to the views and opinions of the others. And I think this is just going to be the milestone for the upcoming year. As you all know, textile and apparel industry has always completed the transformation, and we reinforce our position in the country and the world. And I think at the same time, Turkish Clothing Manufacturers Association always opened up the horizon of the industry. And with the pandemics, upon the new conditions, we have already started a transformation program and doing some revision. It will be completed this year, and we'll be sharing it with the industry. I'll be concluding my words here and wish for the success of this event and conference. Once again, I would like to thank in advance to all the speakers and to the audience as well. Thank you very much, distinguished President. Now I would like to move directly to Sanem, Dikmen. So the industry is transforming, and with the transformation of the industry, of course, there will be new potentials to emerge, as Mr. Kaya also stated. What is on the agenda with regards to this transformation? I also would like to extend my gratitude to all of you. As the co-president of the Executive Committee of the Turkish Clothing Manufacturer Association, I would like to thank to all who contributed. Welcome to Istanbul Apparel Conference. Yes, Mr. Kaya, as you stated, Mr. Esen, as you stated, we're just going through some times that are very important, just like the 1980s. In 1996, we had the Customs Union. In 2005, into liberalization at the world trade. So each and all brought some challenges and opportunities. And of course, we'll learn export, and at the same time, we raise the bar for our standards for trade with the EU. And then we now started some small lot production and flexible production. And this industry actually has gone through a lot so far. And we have 3,360,000 tons of production capacity. In 2019, it was 2,750,000 tons of production. In 2020, 10 billion US dollars worth of 1.3 million tons of export that we did. And then with regards what is going to come next, and I think, first of all, we have to be adaptable and to the changing conditions. And at the same time, I believe there is a change in the supply chain. It actually should focus on sustainability and digitalization, because it all has changed our way of doing business, especially rather than, for example, far areas. We have so many customers that would like to get the supply from near the adjacent countries. And we also have $20 billion worth of a US market. If we succeed in doing a free trade agreement, then it actually has a huge potential. In particular, it will change the export capacity of the entire country. Our production capacity, as Mr. Kaya stated, we actually have to increase it because there is demand, and this demand will continue. And 4 million tons of a capacity increase is possible in the medium term, but automation, digital infrastructure, and smart systems should be established. And at the same time, we have to increase our added value. Sustainability and compliance is important, and there's also the Green Deal of the EU. There is going to be a carbon regulation at the border. These are the other things. Carbon emissions should be reduced, and we need energy efficiency, green energy, and use of recyclable products. These are going to be our priorities. And there is a need for some new investments for our industry, so there is a need to have more incentives from the government, especially for our companies that are at the first and the second areas. They actually have to be supported with some on-site. With regards to carbon emission restrictions at the border, the actual buyers at the EU are still looking for sustainability, and several global brands, again, gradually would like to get the supply from reusable products. And doing so, certification is also a must to us. Digitalization is going to be another dynamics for the transformation. In the last 1.5 years, majority of our business models are based on digitalization. We have to improve the infrastructure, and there is an increase also for e-commerce, which is important for our retailers and all. It means that there is a need for some continuity and sustainability by all parties. Our industry, it's not enough for our industry to finish its own transformation, but recycling facilities, organic cotton, and having some certain collection centers, fast delivery, marketplaces. We need new players, and at the same time new marketplaces. So we have so many stakeholders, I should say. And we have to be aware of our responsibilities. And at Turkish Clothing Manufacturers Association, we would actually like to reach to the top at this to raise the awareness. We would like to get the opportunities of the new era. We actually have to be good in our internal dynamics. Our fast fashion and quality and creativity is important. We are very close to Europe. We have a certain level of production capacity. We have several opportunities for logistics. So this is a favorable condition to us. And with the improvement of the digital infrastructure, there will be a $6 billion and of product capacity and $25 million worth of export that we will have. So I believe that we will actually strengthen our cooperation. So I would like to thank in advance to the speakers and to the audience as well. Once again, thank you very much, Ms. Dikmen, for this nice introduction from both of the co-presidents. We actually get this. So Ahmet, Öksüz, I will move to you. The president of Istanbul Textile and Raw Materials Exporters Association. Sustainability of export for Turkey, and Turkey is actually much more favorable when compared to especially Far East during the pandemics. In terms of export and sustainability, what would you say? And first of all, thank you very much to both of the co-presidents. Good work. A great conference. This is the 14th conference that we are together. And looking at the theme of the conference, I think it is actually indicating our priority. Digital transformation, innovation, zero, waste and sustainability. At which point we are as Turkey. As the president stated, we got a great performance in terms of export for the last 2 months, especially it is $29 billion worth, and the expectation is actually to go over 30 in terms of export for textile and clothing. But of course, we have to feed it very well, supply it well. Also in export, so as to have a sustainable growth, of course, we have to recode it. That's the reason why you have a great motto for the conference as recoding fashion. Not only for the apparel, but also for the textile industry. It's a must. And we have several ongoing activities as the as the Istanbul Textile and Raw Materials Exports Association, and we are the first to prepare an action plan together with the Turkish Exporters Assembly. In export, as you all know, there is an increasing acceleration and impetus, but investment is so important, as the president stated, especially at the textile side. At the raw material side, we have some shortcomings. As you all know, mainly cotton. We are one of the countries that import raw materials, and the prices are going up. Cotton actually had a historical record over 110 cents. This is the main raw material, and the increase in cotton is, of course, reflected onto the thread, then again the cloth, the garment, and so. And we are the importer country, so it is affecting us, of course. The price increase in cotton, 420 billion Turkish liras of a turnover, and these are the figures from, and 1,150,000 employment. And we actually, in the beginning of 2020, we actually celebrated over 1 million employment, but still, despite the pandemics, we have an increase by 115,000. We are one of the largest supplier and the second largest for Europe. Unfortunately, for many years, we actually had perception problem. I mean, saying that clothing or apparel is something that is the industry of the less developed countries, but this is not the case anymore. We know how important this industry is for the Turkish economy. This is something that we know for sure. So we are at the top 5. I mean, look at the other top 5 countries, except for China, United States, Germany, Italy. These are the developed countries that we have at the first top 5. So textile is not the industry of only the less developed countries. That is what we should understand. We pay attention to R&D so as to increase export. It's a must. We have almost 80 companies having an R&D center under their body. At the textile raw materials, it is $4.5 in average, but this actually reaches up to $10 for the companies that have an R&D center. So it means that the companies that have an R&D center can produce more added value products. We were at New York last year. We had an exhibition, and Turkey, we are the only association that organized a fair exhibition abroad. Together with 28 companies, we were there. It was a great motivation for the companies as well. We had great talks there. In the United States, we also raised the bar, so we became the 8th country. Of course, in the United States, we are very behind our target, but still, we actually had taken a good step. One final word. Of course, as the textile and apparel industries, we are complementing each other. This is the case in China. In Far East, producing your thread, the fabric, the clothing, and so on. A few countries can produce them all, and we actually have to give credit to this. It's a great industry. Of course, in this also preliminary session, this is perfect to see your consolidation, your collaboration, so as to improve the export of Turkey. It's something very pleasing. Thank you very much for your words. Once again, wish for the success of the conference, and thank you very much to Mr. Öksüz. Now I'd like to move to Mustafa Gültepe, the president of Istanbul Apparel Exporters Association. What is on your agenda? So I, at the same time, would like to thank to the presidents, and at the same time, with my best gratitude to the audience. So this is the second time that we are having this conference in the studio. And I would like to say that the industry never stops, actually, never stops to work at the point of digitalization. And we, as the apparel industry, looking at all the physical operations, we actually, for the design contests or for the fashion contests or the art fairs and all, we performed them all at the digital platforms. I mean, we never stopped during the pandemic, so we continue with our journey also during the era. So the industry continued with this transformation. We have already started the transformation, but with the pandemics, we actually had the chance to reach to another level. Thinking about what we have done so far, speaking on behalf of the industry, I would like to say for both textile and apparel, we've reached to a certain level. So we did everything both at the physical side and also at the virtual environment. So it means that our industry actually, they had this transformation. Now, of course, as Ms. Dikmen stated also about everything, there is no need to actually repeat what is already mentioned. What is important is to make a difference. For example, giving least harm to the environment. We have to also prove that that's what we're doing. I mean, set aside quality and others. We have to use natural resources. I mean, it's not possible without giving any harm to the environment. That is the production mode that we should move to. And especially there are certain incentive policies, and therefore this is what we're trying to do. As Mr. Kaya stated, we actually need to have some larger factories, and such factories actually should be self-sufficient, and especially in terms of the waste, and we actually have to be able to give the least harm to the environment. This is then we could be different from the others. Of course, there is in particular a demand for this, but of course, so as to leave all these things in Turkey, that's what we should do. Thinking about establishment of the companies or access to raw materials, there are some challenges. And due to the pandemics, due to certain, there's an attention Turkey, interest on Turkey. In September, for example, for the history of the Republic, the highest level reached. It is $1.948 billion US dollars, the historical record so far. It was 1.850 lastly. And probably all these studies, sustainable to digitalization and everything, if we succeed in doing so, so we will actually have the chance to reach to a different level as a textile and apparel industry with collaboration and with common mindset. And this is what we can do. Istanbul is actually the center, and that is also the team as well. And that's what we are also doing at the contest, but also for Anatolia. We would like to have more production at Anatolia. And I think this is what we should do as a team. We'll continue to collaborate, and I hope that this conference would be very useful for everyone, with my best wishes to all. Thank you very much, Mr. Gültepe. What I understand from your words is collaboration, cooperation, supporting each other from all the presidents, and for fashion and apparel actually will be recoded today. And to Mr. Kaya, to Ms. Dikmen, co-president of Turkish Clothing Manufacturer Association. I would like to thank to Ahmet, Öksüz, İstanbul Textile and Raw Materials Exporters Association, and Mustafa, Gültepe, İstanbul Apparel Exporters Association. Thank you very much. A great introduction. So we'll move on with our conference. Thank you.